I was going to say, well, I am from Miracle Paws. We do breed dogs, but I'm actually Miriam from Redemption Mamas. That's another feather in my cap. So Redemption Mamas is a ministry that I founded some years ago now, working with women, mentoring, running alongside, cheerleading, holding hands, diving deep into issues in our heart that need some healing, need some healing, and I've had plenty of those. So I'm really excited tonight because Cheryl Liao is with me tonight, and we'll bring her on in just a minute. Cheryl and I met through some Ascension group that we co-host together, and that's been a really beautiful relationship and an incredible way to get to know each other and the others in the group, as well as we spend time just really going above, rising above, and into the heavenly realms, hearing what's on the heart of the Father. And so tonight we very much have been waiting on that for each other and for ourselves. And for what I do in the heart healing space, there's that beautiful opportunity for deep wounds to be healed, for you to reclaim your personal power. You know, we can give that up because we think it's just too hard, and we let it go. And also to just unlock the God-given destiny that is truly yours and mine to step into. And so for this year, I've been given the word shift. Expect a shift. And there's been quite a few things shifting in my life, even in the last month, nearly a month, first month of the year. So it's going to be a big year if the first month is anything to go by. It's challenging in the shift because what it takes a lot of guts, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of determination. And I've been seeing open doors. I posted in the Redemption Mamas Facebook group about that. The open doors is in 2024. There are many open doors, and I'm experiencing that in my own life, and I'm hearing some actually come back and share with me, you know, oh, I'm wondering if this is my open door. And I'm so excited that you know, these questions are even being asked, because as we ask the questions, then we give Holy Spirit the opportunity to give us the answers. But walking through the door, embracing the shift, stepping through over the threshold, there's always going to be a war over that door. Things in the dark realm are not going to want you to step through. You are going to have resistance. You're going to have pushback. So tonight, Cheryl and I are going to talk a little bit into this whole concept of resistance and what it's going to take and what we need to embrace to really push through and step over that threshold. So Cheryl, come on in. Here she is. Hello, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, good evening. It's nearly my bedtime, so I'll be doing that straight after. But so thank you so much for joining me, and to spend this time together, just to really hear what's on the heart of the Father for this year of breaking through, this year of stepping over that threshold. I was reminded today of a verse many years ago. It's in Psalm 11. It's in the Psalm 11. And it says this: "Behold, the eyelids of God test the sons of men." And you know, I pondered on that for some time when I was going through Psalms at that time, and I thought, why is these eyelids testing us? And then I realized if his eyelids are testing us, his eyes have got to be closed. It's like, why would he be closing his eyes? And when I took a look at this verse in the Passion Translation, it says it in a very different way. It says, "He closely watches and examines everything we do. With a glance, his eyes examine every heart." And I realized that's what it's all about. sometimes we might be waiting for a sign. We might be waiting for, incredible revelation. We might be waiting for the lightning to strike. We might be waiting for the curtain to tear apart before we step through. And it's in that moment that, in actual fact, those eyelids are just testing and examining our heart. How willing, how courageous, how bold will we be to step in and step through the open door? Now, you have some beautiful poetry there, Cheryl. Is now the time to share that, or have you got something you'd like to share?
Oh, wait, the one I just read to you? She always puts me on the spot. Okay. Um, yeah, first when you were reading that, because she won't give me stuff ahead of time. So when you were reading that, um, I was seeing, because you call this "Come Taste and See," and I just saw it like this. You know how when you eat a piece of chocolate cake in that first bite or whatever, and you just kind of go, hmm, right? It's that you close your eyes and you just savor. And I kind of saw it's not that God is examining with laser digital testing every part of us. He's like, it's almost like the door is there, the opportunity's there. Like you said, we might be putting out fleeces or waiting for confirmation or waiting for things to happen in the natural. And he's going, and he's smelling, and we're supposed to be a sweet smelling savor. How does it happen? It happens through worship. It happens through waiting. It happens through being quiet with him and not in the frenzy of what if this happens and what if that happens, and that this is not his frequency. His frequency is very low and slow. And I just came going, are you ready? Like, are you
Mm-hmm.
matching my frequency? Are you trusting me? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
in that trust that we can move smoothly forward and almost like, royalty princess. It's getting in that dance position and looking onto him and going, okay, I'm ready when you are. Like, I don't have to fight in the trenches. I don't have to get it. He's not saying go boxer, go wrestler, get the devil. He already beat the devil. And do we realize, right? Our enemy has been defeated. It just the voices are the echo is still there at the door. We can just rest and be and listen to get his rhythm, and then we will walk. Okay. You saw the Michael Jackson video, oh my gosh, in the 80s where he was dancing on that light
Mm-hmm.
floor.
Yep.
Like he and I don't have to look for the light. I don't have to fear being a failure or fear making a mistake. I can't if I'm letting him lead me in the dance through that door that I'm feeling resistance or I'm feeling inadequate, but he is the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wouldn't be there if it was.
Yeah.
So
And
that's when you were saying that, I didn't want to lose that passion. So
oh,
I love
that's
the passion
beautiful.
for
And the taste and see piece, it's like he's faithful, he's good. He won't disappoint us. And yet partly we miss some of that because we don't move in that dance. We don't move in the flow that might be opening up because it's, scary. It's like confronting. But
It's the
his
trust. It's the trust. He leads.
yeah.
Here I go with my control issues that
Hmm.
I feel I need to. Is it now's the time to move forward? I can use you as an example where you're just like, Cheryl, let's get on live. I'm like, I've never done lives before. I've got tons of stuff he gives me, and I know one to share it with, but my husband, so he's rather happy I get to chit chat with because we can go.
Well,
Women are wired different.
there's a
Yes.
wealth of word and wisdom that has been downloaded over those years for you, and that's why I feel so excited to hear. And I've been feasting on some of those words over the last year or so. Um, Share the poem that you wrote about resistance.
Yeah. So, just a little backstory. Miriam gave me that there's resistance at the door. If you listen to her stuff, I go on now and listen, and that there's always a war at the door. And I'm like, is there a war at the door? I'm kind of learning to trust fall and just go with the flow, because life has been crazy since the pandemic, and we just have to realize he's got other plans than I planned for my life. And I went through my documents. I literally just put resist in there, and this document came up, because I write in the computer, and it's called the silent resistance. And I
Mm,
was really curious to what in the world he said about silent resistance. So these are from God's point of view when he writes. It says, "I gave them time, like a rope it became." So time to me, he says, he tells me a lot to give him back the gift of time that he made for me. So time is a key. It's not by accident he made time and space and all that stuff for us to live in, because he gave us time. It actually gives us time to heal and time to grow and time to kind of, like, I just see it as a womb. Like, my when I had kids and they grew in the womb, they were safe and they were protected. We're actually safe and protected, even though stuff we feel is attacking us and
mm,
there's a resistance. But that it's making us stronger. It's not in his plan. He doesn't cause things. Anyway, I'm going to get back to what I read. See, I'll go off. It says, "I gave them time. Like a rope it became, like a noose, they gathered it around their neck. I spoke to their hearts. I wooed them in the night. But to them it was torment, for their feet were set upon the sand. The rock looks hard, the rock looks ragged. They took the path of least resistance. They fell for the lie."
mm. Yeah, there you go. The
I
path
think
of least resistance. We just have a choice, don't we? We have a choice to do that, to shrink back and go the easy way, or to really take hold of whatever we are fearing and seeing. Like, it's what we focus on. If we focus on the war and we focus on the door and we focus on the resistance, then we'll probably never push through. But like you said, it's to focus on what's beyond, moving in
I
and
see it as perspective, because he gave us time. Time is our friend. We might say, "Oh, I thought I would do that by the time I was in my 30s. I thought I would write a book. I thought I would build a business. What dreams did we have?" And to filter those, to bring them to him and say, "What about this one?" Ask him, "What about that one? What about that one?" He said, "Well, that one wasn't me, and that one was me." And if it's of him, then you've got, like, you're fully backed. You can't. So I think it's to go back and look at those things that the enemy can be using, in those voices at the door, to call us a failure, to
mm,
call us weak, to call us, so you'll never amount to anything. Those aren't God's voice,
yeah,
and they're not even our voice. They're coming from a different root, right?
yes,
The knowledge of the tree of good and evil and the knowledge of life. Those voices are, if the things in my head aren't cheering me on, then why am I listening? I need to look at them and say, okay,
mm,
I,
mm.
I caught it in somebody's vernacular the other day. They said, well, at least I'm not a failure in that area. And I was like, I waited for the kind, and I said, you're not a failure. And the emotion, you could tell, right, they were third person. At least I'm not a failure in that area. That means you've got some self-talk in there and some other thing, that
Yeah,
you might have a list of F's on your report card, and the enemy's going, look, you're not strong enough, you're not good enough. And we
mm,
just got to
mm,
say, no, seriously, our voice is so powerful. You talk about this year, um 2024, is the 4 is the door, right? And the 20, go back 4 years, it was all about, it's the decade of the mouth, of the pay.
mm, yeah, yeah.
So, right? So because in Hebrew it's 84, right?
Yes.
We're in
Yes.
24, but in Hebrew, the year is, I think, 5784. I might be misquoting it. But the 80 is the pay, which is the mouth. And now
Yep.
we're in the door. So, how do we get through the door? With
Yes.
our
Yes.
mouth.
That's
We
it.
say no to that.
Yeah.
We just say no. It's that. It's. I almost hear like, speak to the hand. The face ain't listening to those voices, because it says we've twisted the intention. He's wooing us in the night. He's
Mm,
putting
mm,
dreams and seeds in our heart in the night, and we're looking at it from the underside, almost like people used to use like that tapestry analogy, where the front of the carpet as they're making it is beautiful, and you see the picture.
mm.
Turn it to the back. It looks like a bunch of frayed knots and
Yes.
chaos. And God's like, come up higher, come up and see what I'm doing. I'm working all things together. So say no to the voice. Don't,
Mm.
and that's where journaling comes in, or whatever. You can say, I'm hearing that I'm a failure. And
Mm.
then literally, I get this from Lana Vosser. She says, she gets coffee in the morning and says, Lord, what's on your heart?
Mm.
And I
Mm.
remember the first time I heard her say that, I was like, I can ask God what's on his heart. And it changed my whole I'm not getting up, vomiting with all my, bringing in my whole train of of stuff to give to the Lord. I'm just like, okay, time with the Lord. What's on your heart?
Yeah.
And he speaks. He wants to impart love and wisdom and knowledge to us. So
Yes. That's so beautiful. As we stand at the door, like you're saying, there's the war over our mind, our thoughts, our mind, our will, our emotions, the soulish realm. And if we listen to that and we agree with it, then we are never going to go through that door. So what is it going to take to get us through the door? And that's where like your husband's, use the internet just for what you need. Well, we www dot find what we need. And one day the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, you www dot to find what you need on the internet, www dot find what you need in me. And I was like puzzled by this www. And he said to me, word, worship, wonder. And so using my words is going to start to push back against that resistance. Using my words is going to start to declare over my open door how I'm going to get through. I'm going to walk through. I mean, it never ends up looking like what we think, because, we have our own ideas, and then, of course, God has his own ideas, his thoughts and our thoughts. But, he's going to take us through. And the little steps and the little words and the little bits that we feed out into that space start to pave the way. They start to open the door. So word, using my words, using his word, worship is a form of word, and just honoring and bringing glory, and it opens up the way ahead of us. It opens it up, and where we may not be sure where to step next or where to go next, as we www word worship wonder. And for me, wonder is just sitting in nature, or sitting in places that bring me into that awe and the beauty, and just the incredible presence that comes, when you're sitting in places that you are beyond your ability to even imagine, but the beauty is so real. Word, worship, wonder, for me, they're the keys that are going to get me through that door. And if I hold on to them and I intentionally keep turning those keys, I know eventually the door will open. And this is the other thing. We can never know just when that's going to happen. And how many times I wonder that I stepped back and I didn't cross over because I felt like it had been too long. God had not turned up in my time frame, and I missed the opportunity of really stepping into something that potentially I could have. I love how your poem really framed up the path of least resistance.
It's tempting, right? Do I
Always.
really want to? And it's almost like I just said it. Do I really want to fight for this? And there is a fight, but the kingdom is love, so it's not a fight of anger or can I yell louder? Can I push harder? Push,
Mm,
push.
mm, mm,
That reminds me of child labor, and um, my second child came out like butter, like literally, like that was it. And it was like, there's another way, right? We don't have to go with the world's way and what the world tells us. This is
mm,
normal. It's a struggle. And no, God, the door, when you said, I don't know if the door's going to open. I don't know when the door's going to open. I'm almost like your picture you put up in your other post. The door's open.
mm,
If the door is Jesus, Jesus says, I am the door. I am the way. Walk through me.
mm, mm,
The door is open. So there's a lie, right? They took the path of least resistance. They fell for the lie. We don't have to think that we have to jimmy the lock or we have to wait for this magical door to open. It's open. It's
mm,
open.
mm.
It's just
Yeah.
the threshold. We just have to step over.
Yeah.
And it's better if we have no clue what we're doing because then we'll look to him and say, "Take me through."
Mm,
I don't know what I'm doing, and
yeah.
that's where humility comes in. Because otherwise, honestly, if we open the door ourselves and we prepare ourselves enough, and we push, and then we birth the baby,
Mm, yeah.
and then the enemy gets us on the other side of the door and says, "Hello, pride. Why don't right? We find pride on the other side of this great door, and
Mm,
and then that's that fruit, and eventually it gets found out, and things happen, and we know we live in a world where everyone wants to beat everybody up when they slip, and well, they're doing a great work for God, but they got into pride. Well, I
mm,
got
mm.
sometimes, it's just not on the internet. Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably a relief. Well,
Right.
there's a verse that comes to mind for me, and it's about the battle. It's in that Ephesians chapter 6 where it talks about the battle that we're in and the heavenly realms and all of the contention that's going on. But the word that is used is stand. Therefore, it's not fight and get your armor on and get your sword, and it's stand, stand, stand. And I've been pondering that as well, because like you're saying, sometimes we think we've just got to like push and fight, and there is a period, or there might be some part of that, but when it's just beyond our capacity, and when it's beyond even what is even looking like what might be on the other side of the door is just scary and confronting, then we can stand. We can stand, therefore, and he contends on our behalf and he fights for us. But we've got to posture ourselves, don't we, in that place where we're not believing the lies, where we're choosing not to take the path of least resistance, where we're making a decision that we are going to do whatever it takes to push through, step over that threshold, and see what lies waiting for us on the other side of that door.
And it's almost to flip it, like, do I even need to push in? Right? If I flip that, I'm going to press into him, right? The more I press into the word of God and the truth that I can find in there, the more I worship, the more I in worship can do just shut the world off and put on some instrumental music and talk to God or
Mm.
sit with there's this it doesn't even it's he's different, and he's always different. We think I've got this pattern and I got this thing that's working for me in my 20s. I got saved and life is great. And then in my 30s, I'm raising kids. And then in my 40s, I'm launching them into the world. And now in my 50s, I'm going, okay, what now? And it's always this new thing, but I need to trust him. It's in it's almost like when you were talking, I thought of the centurion, the story of the centurion. Somebody was sick, and he comes to Jesus, this Roman centurion, and he goes, Jesus, can you heal my servant? And Jesus goes, sure, he realized it was a connection he needed to make for the kingdom. He's like, sure, I'll be right there. And the guy goes, oh, no, no, no. You can just see him going, he's like almost it's like teaching Jesus, right? Because
Yeah.
Jesus had never encountered faith like that. He goes, no, 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 no. You don't have to come. You just say it and it'll be done. And
Mm,
Jesus was like, and that's that mouth. That's it, right? We just have to say it. We can sit or stand. Like stand, I can sit seated with him, or I can stand. Having done all, stand,
yeah.
because I just need to say what he's saying, which is going to be some form of love, some form of peace. It's not going to be fighting and arguing and trying not to cuss because our emotions are so right.
Stand
It's
up.
like no. It's
Mm,
going to be that path least taken, that narrow way, and not the way all the gurus are telling us to do it.
yeah.
5 steps to victory, steps to financial freedom. There's wisdom everywhere, right? Poured out on the street, and which one's God? It's so confusing. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did have something I want to read real quick because I listened to your post on WWW, and I got from Word Worship and Wonder. I got come to me, no striving, no overthinking, no opinions, and no judgments.
Mm,
Like
wow.
stripped bare of right, no striving, no thinking, no opinions, no judgments, because that's, I don't know about you guys, but these are my four little partners in crime.
Ah,
Right. um,
it's funny.
right, I've gotten Victor, I learned I had control issues, and then I think I'm moving forward, and I'm moving forward, and then he comes up and goes, you need to stop thinking, and I was like, what can that is that a thing? So when we come to him, we can't be striving. We can't be overthinking everything because those voices at that door, they're not God. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Unless they're cheering us on, right?
yeah.
No opinions and no judgments. Already anyway, that's a whole nother talk we need to have.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like
That's powerful.
come, yeah, right? Come singing my melody of love from the overflow of my heart, for it is into you I flow. Open the door of first love. I will release ever increasing wonder. And then this song came into my head, so I'll just give it a little try here. It says, wide eyed and mystified, may we be just like a child staring at the beauty of our King. You can find it. It's called Wonder. A couple different people have done it.
Beautiful.
But he twisted it a little and he said, wide eyed and mystified, become like a child, trusting innocently in my love. My beloved, my friend, my bride, come sit with me, just be with me, rest.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's not a fight, it's a state of
Mm,
being, royalty in the kingdom, and realizing that it's already been written on the itinerary on the kingdom calendar. We need to show up in the threshold, right?
yeah.
I get to go through that door. Really?
Mm,
Let's go.
yeah.
And I
Wow.
don't need to over. It's like with you. You said today, I didn't give you any information, Cheryl. We're going with the live, right?
Well,
You
I
don't
gave
have
scant information, but you're doing well with
right,
it.
but I mean, right, but otherwise we overthink and we overplan and we don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Today we
We,
really wanted to flow with what
yeah,
what was being downloaded, to our hearts from the heavenlies, because it's really a beautiful way, I think, just to finish tonight is to what you're sharing with me is just resonating, because the last 2 years have been the fight. Now it's the stand.
yeah,
The last few years have been the battle, Now it's time to stand and word, worship, wonder, step through the door.
It sounds too easy.
It sounds, it sounds too easy, and it probably is if we didn't overthink and judge and those other four things that you were talking about. They're the things that get in our way, don't they? We judge others because of this, or we overthink. I mean, overthinking is a big thing for me. Second guessing and all that sort of stuff.
I think for every almost every woman, I ask women,
Mm.
do you ever not have a thought in your head? And this is the looks I get. Huh? What? Because I know if I solve one issue or make one decision, there's eight more waiting in line.
Mm. Mm.
It'd be like having 20 kids or something. Like you get one fed, somebody else has it. There's always
Yeah.
something. And I think as women, we need to realize we have a bridegroom king. He's in control of the universe. He
Mm.
can handle any problem,
Yeah.
right? And enter into that, what'd you say, into the word, into wonder, into, into that
Yeah.
space of
Yeah.
worship.
Yeah.
Just trust him. Put
Yes.
everything, push everything onto his lap and just just be. And that's a new place.
It is, and it's a new way, because when you've been fighting, like the previous few years have been a real intense battle, not just for me, but so many people have said how hard and so many things going on for them over the last few years. But I'm just sensing now is the year of the open door, so it's not time to bring our swords and chop 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 our way through it. As you started at the beginning sharing, it's a time of just rest. And if we focus our word, our worship, and our wonder, we're going to probably somewhere down the line turn around, look over our shoulder, and think, "Oh my gosh, there's the door behind me. Didn't even
And we've
realize."
gone through four. Like we can have more, right? How much more is there? We don't what we will be like looking back at a hallway with all these doors and going, huh? Because there's an ease with the
Yes.
spirit.
Yes.
We're Adam was not supposed to toil. Women were not supposed to have pain in childbearing on the
Mm.
original intent. So
Yeah.
why do we accept those things?
Yeah.
Because we live in this world. We got to rise above and enter into rest so that we can actually be kingdom kids, be royalty, and act that way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's just a whole new world. And like you said, the last few years, it's like since the shutdown, we had to deal with our stuff.
Mm.
Life used to keep us so busy and it got shut down. And now we are realizing, oh, I'm yelling at my family. Oh, I can't handle people. What? Well,
Yeah.
God's like, he's preparing us as his bride, right? The
Mhm.
whole body of Christ. So he's ironing out the wrinkles and, the heat, we need to embrace that because
Yeah.
it's good
Yeah.
heat, holy fire.
Oh, Cheryl, thank you. Breath of fresh air. Thank you so much. I'd love for you to send me your poem, if that's okay, to post that
I'll touch
in the
bases.
Redemption Mamas Facebook group. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you so much for sharing. And those of you who listen, just ask. Just ask. Where am I? What's my posture? Where's my what are the lies I'm believing? What baggage do I need to leave behind so I can step through this open door? Because 2024, there's some beautiful things ahead of us. Well,
Yes.
thank you, Cheryl. Bless you all that are listening. And we will join you again next week if Cheryl doesn't mind playing this game again.
It's fun.
Oh, that's good. Well, you're a blessing, and bless you who are listening. Take care.